Well, hello, folks. So we're down here at the river again. The day is just absolutely gorgeous. Going for low 70s today. And I'm down here to finish up these sawhorses. And then I might be taking apart all of this framing here and preparing for drilling for the plumbing. I talked to the inspector today and got an understanding of what I need to do for the 3-inch and 2-inch plumbing that goes underneath the bedroom. So we'll see how much we can get done. Still waiting on drawings from the engineer. It's been 6 weeks, I think. Anyway, so I'll be trying to tear apart this bedroom, which is through this door. Trying to finish removing all the wallboard and insulation from the walls, and then I can drill the holes for the plumbing and hook that up. Have fun. Alright folks, so after cleaning up in here, I'm still wearing my mask because of the dust, but
So we have some interesting stuff going on here. Obviously, we have some water damage. This is the east corner of the house. There's the deck and the river. So there's an outlet on the outside that's just mounted to the wall, but you can see here is the daylight. Good stuff. I probably actually put this in 10 years ago, but you can see how good the particle board has stood up. Same here. Pretty bad. Wow. So I'm wondering what the end of the plywood. This whole, all the framing here is going to be replaced, but the under this base plate. You know, I wonder what the structural integrity of the plywood underneath here is. Here it's probably not bad. Under here it's probably not great right at the edge. And we're okay here, but then of course, again here, we have some loss of integrity here. And then here it's good. So you notice that these are occurring at the lower corners of the window. I'm sure that, oh, what's the show? I'm sure this old house would have something to say about this behavior of the water, which is just basically indicating the flashing of this window was pretty poor going around. So anyway, and then same down here, but it's rotten all along the bottom, but that's just because of poor flashing, I guess, outside, whatever. Anyway, we'll be fixing that.
So this is 2 feet from the outside of the framing, 2 inches from the inside of the rim joist on top of the 1995 foundation. These joists are 16 inches on center, which means I'm going to have to shift the upstairs joist by a few inches to accommodate the toilet, but it needs to be 12 inches from the finished surface of the wall, which would tend to put the center line of the toilet drain right on a joist, but because the joist span is so short, I can shift the joist under the toilet toward the wall. That way the shower drain, which is going to be in this bay anyway, above, will be in the same bay as the toilet drain, and they will come together inside this bay upstairs and come down from here, which means that this wall on this floor, which is going to come out to about here, will have a little bit of a bump out to accommodate this drain. This is a 4-inch diameter hole saw, which is half an inch larger than it has to be, but that's all right. 4 inches. 4 inches is the outside diameter of a fitting that goes over a 3-inch diameter pipe, inside diameter pipe. So the inside of this rim joist is actually about 1/4 of an inch over from where I thought it was, which is fine. I can chisel that out, and it's only going to be a 45-degree fitting here anyway. So that worked out pretty well. Laying on the blocks. All right. All right, I think I got the plumbing ready for inspection here, except for pressure. So this is the 3-inch that goes up to the bathroom for the toilet and the shower. Come along here, you can get an idea of the slope. As we go down, we are talking about almost 1/4 of an inch per foot. So 1/8 inch per foot is the 3-inch pipe limit, and 1/4 inch per foot is the 2-inch pipe limit. So I've got at the far end, I've got a cap on the end of the 3-inch, and then there's a cap on the end of the 2-inch up top here. We'll go up. So you can see the 2-inch pipe sticking up and the cap on it. So I think I'm about ready for inspection. I got all the hangers at 4 foot. and we'll see how it goes. All right, so here we are going to do a review of the current state of the foundation sill plate. So I cut all the sheathing boards about a foot up or so I could expose the rim. And starting from the sill, here's this is, you know, what I expected. So clearly this is pretty bad, but I was planning on replacing this once I exposed this area. I was planning on just opening it up and seeing how far down I need to replace to. So this is pretty astounding. It's as much rot as it is termites. Right here, geez, it just crumbles in the hand. So the worst of it kind of stops here. I am underneath the window in the family room. And then there's obviously termite activity here. Some termite activity into the wood here. This is obviously between the sheathing and the rim joist. And there's some other termite here. So I'll probably replace that by itself with that. If the sill plate isn't all rotten, I can just replace this joist here. You know, yank out the nails, you know, run a circular saw down the middle and pry it out, and then you know, clean out any hardware that's in there, cut a new piece, and I can even replace it in sections if I have to, like 4 or 8 foot sections. It doesn't have to be one continuous bit. But and this might be the case going all the way down the house. I don't know. If the wood had termite damage in it, but it's still relatively solid, I'll probably leave it. You know, treat it and then cover it up and do a good job of sealing the joint here at the block and the new sheathing. And then there's going to be 2 inches of rigid foam insulation on top of that, and then a rain drip gap, 3/4 inch, and then the siding, of course, and then and I'll have a screen underneath to cover up the rain drip gap so that critters can't get up inside there. So the side of the house is going to stick out another 3 inches, at least 3 1/4 or 3.5 inches from here, or actually on top of the new sheathing. So I'll be making sure that is all going to keep more critters from getting up in there. And I can treat this with just spraying it with a solution of borax and water, and that'll prevent new termites from wanting to eat the wood, or it'll kill them when they try to eat the wood. So anyway, that's where we're at. And then there's some more rot damp. You know, I had shown this earlier, but clearly under the windows, even over there, it was still moist, even after it's been able to dry out, being opened up. So these 2 sets of windows here, this guy and this guy here, I actually found someone on Marketplace that wanted them, so I don't have to throw them out. They'll actually go to use. So that's kind of cool. I'm really happy about that. All right, so got rid of the windows. Someone got them for free. They can make use of them. They're not going to the landfill. So that's pretty awesome. Now I got to figure out how to support this roof. I'm wrapping it up for this week. We got the windows out. I put the door wall on Marketplace. Now I'm going to button up these holes, make it relatively secure, and wrap this whole opening with house wrap to keep the weather out for now. And we'll pick it up next time. Cheers.